Hey everyone, welcome back to our Mission Bit coding tutorial series. It's Jaden again, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use Unity's Gizmo visualizers to debug our level design and enemy AI behaviors, so we can see things like our AI's detection range, patrol paths, and firing directions. Let's get right into it. Before we dive into anything, let's talk about what gizmos are. Gizmos are scene view visualizers that only appear in the editor. They never appear in the game view, they're purely for debugging and level design. We have a couple ways to use gizmos. We have on-draw gizmos or on-draw gizmos selected. Both are useful in their own way and built into Unity's core functionalities. On-draw gizmos always shows in the editor, while on-draw gizmos selected only shows if you have your game object selected. Inside of our functions, we have a few useful static methods that Unity provides for us. We could draw a cube, a sphere, a mesh, or a line. All of these displays a full solid geometry. On another note, we have the same methods but displaying it in a wireframe version, which is similar to how you'd see colliders in Unity, where it's kind of see-through, which is more useful for the use cases we're going to be doing today. These are just a snippet of what gizmos can do for your game or project, but there are many ways to utilize gizmos in your scene. Let us know in the comments what you use it for. Let's talk about how gizmos can improve our workflow. In this scene, we have two types of enemies. One that stays still, and one that patrols between 2 points. Both enemies can throw projectiles if a player is in range. The primary problem is that we can't see the exact distance our enemy can detect our player. Although we have it as an integer in our inspector, we can't exactly estimate the range unless we test it multiple times. So let's go into our enemy AI script and see how easy it is to add a quick visualizer. So I have my enemy AI script opened up now. In short, this script is a base class for our enemy functionality. We initialize a foundation for our enemy features in this single base class and have our future enemies defined in other scripts. Just some good practice for enemy AI behaviors that keeps our scripts separate and modular. Now let's get into the gizmos. If you remember, we can use two functions, onDraw gizmos and onDraw gizmos selected. We want to visualize our detection range for our enemies, so inside of our function, let's use a sphere because that's the most ideal version to apply for detection ranges. First thing you want to do is assign a color to our gizmos. Then we could begin drawing. Most times, you'd use a red color for enemy detection, green for paths, and yellow for lines. So let's apply a color. So I'm applying it to red. And then I want to draw a sphere, just so I can show you what that kind of looks like and why we want to use a wire sphere instead. We have a draw sphere, and remember we're using a center and a radius. So we're using the transform position of our enemy and the detection range. So let's see what that kind of looks like. This is what it kind of looks like for our enemy. We have our enemy range, and it seems like that's just what it looks like. So let's go back and make this a wire sphere and show you why it looks better like that. All right, now we can see everything underneath it, and we'll be able to adjust the values of our detection range. Now that we have our gizmos implemented, I can now see that the detection range of 15 is way too large for our level, and it affects more than just the path that the player is walking on. The most useful part of gizmos is that if we're editing the values used, it changes the sizing of our wire spheres in real time. So we can actively debug and adjust values to fit our game's needs. So our original value was around 15, and it seems like 9 is a pretty good value for our path. So now that I know that information, I can now just go into my other enemies, just give it the same value. Right. Now it seems like it's only affecting certain parts of the path, and it's not going to affect other parts of our level. Let's take a look at a more in-depth example. Inside of our patrolling enemy script, we can also visualize its path and waypoint position. This helps with larger projects that require exact positioning of enemy paths. This time, we're using onDraw Gizmos selected, so it doesn't overload our scene view. As I mentioned, we're using a green gizmo color for our path and waypoint spheres. We have our waypoints stored in an array, so we should use a for loop to draw our path from each position, usually for enemies with more than 2 waypoints. We also use a similar loop for our waypoints as well. And if you remember, it draws from a center point and a desired radius of our sphere. Now let's check out what this looks like. Now, as you can see, when I have my patrolling enemy selected, we're able to see the exact position of our waypoint and also where our path is. And also, the best thing is that if we are updating our patrol point, we're able to see the path update in real time. So I moved our patrol point a little bit closer. It seems like the path also redraws. So that was just a couple examples of gizmos and how to use them. It's really useful for debugging our enemy AI behaviors and allows us to adjust values in the inspector and visualize it in real time. This saves us so much time and keeps us developing longer and debugging less. Let us know in the comments what else you want to see in this series, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.